Welcome to ILN's Sustaining Success series, where we help individuals achieve success in their life by showcasing people who have been there, done that, and would like to share advice on how to be successful. Today we have Brett. Would you like to give us a brief explanation about yourself and what you do?
It's great to be here, first of all. So, I am a high performance coach and speaker. So, I work with people to help them create the consistency and the self discipline they need to play life at the highest level.
What inspired you to become this high performance coach and speaker?
So that's a great question. It's been quite a journey. I've been doing this type of work for about 6 years now. I came from the fitness industry, and I reached a point in the fitness industry where I just felt called to be able to help more people on a different level. I still love fitness. It's a part of my everyday routine. I still enjoy helping people improve their wellness. That is something, obviously, as a high performance coach, we have to have wellness in there somewhere. It needs to be part of that high performance. But it led me down this path, a path of my own personal growth, of figuring out how to use motivation as leverage, how to create self-discipline in my life, how to set goals and achieve goals at a much higher frequency and consistency. So along that journey, I made this pivot to, I want to help other people do the same thing. And what I love about my job and what I get to do every day is my learning and my growth is never complete. I'm always a work in progress. I'm always trying to become the next high performer in my life. So I love that I get to follow along, right along with my clients, and I get to be on this journey with them while also helping them maximize their time, their effort, and their consistency as well.
So, high performance coaching, what exactly does that consist of?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people hear that and they're like, is that me? Is that not me? Do I want to become a high performer? What does that mean? So to me, it just means that we are hitting the standards that we have in our life. And for some people, I will challenge them, if they're listening to this right now, it is, ask yourself, what are the standards that you currently have in your life? I think it's a great thing to evaluate at any given time. What is my standard for the wellness and my fitness and my health that I keep for myself? What is my standard for the relationships that I have and the type of friend or partner that I want to be? What is the standard that I have in my life for what I want to do with my career, my business, my purpose, my passion? And then what is my standard for the fulfillment and happiness that I have in my life? So when we talk about high performance, I really kind of tap into people with those main buckets of their life being health, wellness, business, career, relationships, and then fulfillment. And we try to make sure that the buckets of their life are at the standard that they want it to be. A lot of people are at a standard that feels comfortable, but they're not at the standard that they believe that they should be playing or can be playing. And that's what we really try to do from a high performance standard, is identify areas of opportunity of where can we increase our performance. And I don't say performance from a standpoint of one workout or singing a song on stage, but our daily energy. What are we showing up? Who are we showing up as? And how can we increase that daily output and making sure that we're spending our time in the right places? People often think high performance is, oh, Brett's going to get me to do more. They're often really surprised when I say we're not going to do more. We're just going to do more of the right things. So we're actually going to take things off their plate, remove the time that we're spending in areas that aren't serving us, and spend that time in the right place.
So, speaking of your standards and things like that, do you have any goals or milestones that you're wanting to accomplish before the end of the year?
Yeah, so I always try to practice what I preach. I always have my own goals. This weekend, I'm actually running a half marathon, which will be my first one of those, which will be exciting. That's kind of from the fitness wellness space. By the end of the year, I am currently writing a book that I want to be as close to complete as possible to get into the next phase of that process of publishing and editing and doing all those things. And also, I have my own business revenue goals from a client standpoint, from an increased year over year standpoint as well. So there's a lot of things that I'm working on from a personal life, from also a business standpoint, that I am chipping away at. And we're just about to start quarter 4 here in the next couple of days. So again, people listening, ask yourself, hey, are you 75% of that goal? If you are, great, keep that going. We got to finish the last 25 out to make sure that we win the way we want to. If you're not 75%, take a little life inventory. Ask yourself, why are we not there yet? What do we need to do? And maybe we need to just put a little bit more effort, a little bit more dedication, and maybe we just need to put a little bit more focused energy in some certain places. But yes, always goals on the table, and I always reverse engineer, work my way back.
How long is a Half marathon. I'm sorry. I'm not aware of what a regular marathon is.
You're totally fine. I am so new into the running game myself. So I had to look this up myself too. A half marathon is 13.1 miles. A full marathon is 26.2, I believe.
You also mentioned your book. What is your book about? What do we have to look forward to there?
Yeah, so that is a 2023 goal for me. And the book, again, there's subject to change. I know that I didn't pick the title first. I kind of wrote a lot of things down and then the title slowly came. But the book is really going to be about, it's probably going to be titled, It's Going to Be Uncomfortable Either Way. And the whole book is based upon the decisions that we think that we are making in our life. And a lot of times people avoiding uncomfortable. And the whole reason why I titled the book that is because I believe that when people make decisions, oftentimes we choose comfort. But what the book is going to point out is that what we're choosing is really temporary comfort, not long-term comfort. And that we are going to have to choose uncomfortable either way. Meaning, if we don't maximize our life, what happens is we're choosing comfort in the moment because we don't have to stretch outside our comfort zone. We don't have to take risks. We don't have to try very hard. But later in life, it's going to be really uncomfortable when we look back and say, man, I really never maximized my potential. I never really saw what my body was capable of. I never saw what my mind was capable of. And man, I really should have acted on that business idea because I think it could have changed people's lives. So the whole basis of the book is that you're choosing uncomfortable either way. You're either going to choose uncomfortable right now and do the thing that gives you a reward, or you're going to choose uncomfortable by letting that opportunity slip away. And now we have to live with regret. So that's what we can look forward to, hopefully 2023.
So I did notice you do have a large following on social media. Is that where you get a lot of your clients, or what do you like to do there?
I do. I do get clients from social media. I think it is a very interesting platform. I tend to spend the most time on Instagram just because that's where I've put a lot of time into my content. I have about 14,000 followers, I think 14, maybe 15. And that is a platform where I love to put out content that people are often saying, Brett, where do you come up with your video ideas, or where do they come from? To me, it's really most of the messages that I put out for people are what I needed to coach myself on that day. I am a work in progress, just like everybody else. I'm constantly trying to evolve, constantly trying to grow. So when I find that, hey, this got me through this situation, or hey, I wasn't feeling motivated today and I did this instead and I still got the job done, or whatever it may be, I tend to share a lot of content that to me falls under three buckets. And I always ask myself, if it doesn't fall under these three buckets, I probably will not post it. But it has to either educate or teach somebody something. It has to either motivate or inspire somebody, or it has to either put a smile on somebody's face or make them laugh. And if it falls into those three buckets, I believe it's worthy to go up. If not, I often will probably sit and think about it a little bit longer and maybe not put it up. But I try to keep my page as positive as I possibly can, while still being real and still showing the authentic side of the struggles and not so good days, and the days where you're not always going to be motivated, not always going to follow through, but what happens after that and how do we get ourselves back on track. So I like to use social media. I think it's a great way to connect. I met a tremendous amount of people. I've met clients. I've met my coaches that I work with through social media. So I think, there's obviously a double-edged sword. It can also be a big distraction for some people and a time waster, but I do think social media is net positive.
Do you think when you started on this path that you would end up where you are currently?
I knew that I wanted to help people, and I knew that I had this gift of being able to inspire people to believe in themselves, probably more than they were currently believing in themselves. I don't know. I think that came from some things that happened in my past. I think it came from years in the fitness industry of being a motivator, being somebody who encourages people to push themselves, to challenge themselves, to increase their strength and their confidence. So when I set out for this, I really kind of set out as a general life coach. And I said, hey, I want to help people outside of fitness, what I call the other 23 hours of their life. I was helping people in fitness. And I said, I want to help people with those other areas. I want to help people with their confidence. I want to help people with their limiting beliefs, with their schedule, how they're spending their time, with their confidence, things like that. So that's kind of where it's all led me down this route. And then I've found just through trial and error and through different programs and different clients that I've had is narrowing down to what is the client that I feel the that I am most qualified to serve, and what is the client that I know I can get them the results that they're looking for. And this high performance coach is really where I've landed, as far as I know that that's what I want to. I'm always in constant pursuit of increasing my performance and raising my own standards for life. And I feel that I'm best prepared and best set up to help people do that in their life.
That's amazing. And I noticed you're such a confident speaker. Have you always been this way?
Goodness, no, not at all. And I appreciate you saying that. And, hearing that compliment still means a lot to me, because I can so easily go back to the days where that was not the case. It comes from reps. And I say reps the same way where somebody could be doing squats in the gym and get more comfortable doing squats. Speaking is just reps. And because of my social media and because I challenge myself to speak to my camera often, I just get way more comfortable in front of a microphone or when I'm being interviewed. The other thing is that the more that you do it, you are asking questions to me, and I don't panic because I'm not going to know the answer. The answer flows to me so much easier because I've put myself in situations where I get to answer questions like this, or put myself in situations where I will speak to my camera. And Kayla, I'll tell you, back in, I want to say maybe 2016, I was very not confident speaking to the camera. I was very nervous, and I was anxious about speaking to the camera. That I gave myself a challenge. I said, I'm going to do 30, at the time it was Facebook. I said, I'm going to do 30 Facebook lives in 30 days, meaning I'm going to go live and I'm going to speak to the camera on some sort of topic or some message for 30 straight days. And it was one of the hardest challenges I've ever did. But knowing what was on the other side of that, those 30 days got me so much more confident speaking, because it was live. And if you know about social media, like, you can't go back and edit that. You can't, if you mess up a word, you got to just keep going. So it wasn't 30 videos, it was 30 lives. And going live really made me more confident in the fact that it's not always going to come out the way I hope it does. I could probably have always said something a little bit different, but if the message gets out there, that's the most important thing. And if I don't put the message out there, or I don't hit, play or send or whatever it is, nobody could benefit from that. So those 30 lives in 30 days was a game changer. So for anybody else who is maybe struggling with the confidence of showing up and speaking and maybe being present on social media, I challenge you to do a challenge like that. Maybe start with 15 days, but 15 straight days of showing up and talking to your camera and putting a message out there, I think could be really helpful for your confidence.
What other advice would you might have to give to others that you've learned in life as a performance coach that has just kind of kept you on the right track to become successful?
That is another great question. I would say consistency. I think people know that being consistent is important, but they don't value it as much as they value intensity. And what I mean by that is, so often we, let's use TV, for example, right? You could not watch a show for 2 weeks, but then you could spend one day and watch 12 episodes and finish the whole thing. So in our mind, we're constantly trained through society that we can just binge something and then be done with it. Unfortunately, in most areas of our life, that strategy won't work. We can't work out for 10 hours today and then take the rest of the month off. Our body will not, it just will not work that way. We can't eat really, really well today and then eat whatever we want for the rest of the week and expect to look or feel a certain way. The same thing happens in business or in other people's lives. Let's use relationships for an example. I can't get a girlfriend or convince somebody to be my girlfriend and then stop doing the things that I did that made them attracted to me. It doesn't end there. It just begins. We have to constantly be doubling down on our effort and our consistency there. So I would say that I wish people, and what I try to help people with, is realizing that consistency is so much more important than intensity. And when they start to see that, they start to realize they're seeing so much more progress by doing a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow than trying to do it all today and then not doing anything for the rest of the week. So little bit each day is absolutely the key to seeing progress. And we really want progress. We don't have to be perfect, but we want to make sure that progress and momentum are rolling in the right direction.
Are there any habits or anything like that that you do on a day-to-day basis to kind of train your brain to be in this consistency type state?
There's probably, at this point, Kayla, there's probably a lot. So I won't give you the whole list, but for me, like, physical movement is something that I usually do in the first couple hours of my day. And that is my reset button for, one, It's proof of who I want to be. And I want to be somebody who's fit. I want to be somebody who's strong. I want to be somebody who takes care of their health. Because to me, I feel like we have to start there if we want to be a high energy, high impact person. The other thing that I do is on most mornings, I'll say most here, but I will wake up and I'll drink a huge glass of water. And I drink a huge glass of water, and that just reminds me that, again, I want to hydrate myself because good hydration usually leads to good energy. There are other things like a cold shower. There are other things like reviewing my weekly setup process and knowing what I need to do that day. Going for a walk. There are a lot of little things that I try to do, not every day, because I don't say, hey, I have to do these 10 things every day. But usually on that list of 10, there are 2 to 3 that I will do each day just to prove to myself and remind myself how important consistency is. And it's also a confidence boost for me. When I do those things, I feel really good. I feel really confident, and I can show up that way. If I don't do any of them, I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I'm a disciplined person. And it's harder for me to show up with that good energy. So to me, those are just my daily reminders and reviewing my goals and things. So I'm always aware of what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. And it makes the action or whatever task I need to complete that day, it makes it much more easier to follow through.
When you think about ILN, what is your favorite feature or thing about us?
Yeah, you led me right there. It's the tracking your goals. I think that so often people will set a goal and then forget about it. And they'll set it and they'll put it in some notebook somewhere, or they'll set it in January and they'll put it in a drawer and they never go back to it. I love the fact that the ILN app allows people to constantly see your goal and also break it down into smaller daily reminders and daily action. Because again, that goes hand in hand. What I was just saying about the consistency is a goal is great. Your commitment to that goal or the daily action to that goal is so much more important. So yes, do I want all my clients to have goals? Of course they do. But the game changer with the process that we take is that most times people set a goal, they clap their hands and they say, good, I'm done. I set that goal. Like, I'm so proud of myself. But then they wake up the next day and they say, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. That means that we didn't set that goal properly. So what I love that this app can help you do is set the goal, be really clear on your commitment, and then you have that reminder every single day or however many days a week that you're going to follow through with that commitment, and it keeps you on track. That's the goal. The goal is consistency. And I want to point out that consistency doesn't mean every day. It just means whatever your commitment to that is. So, again, like I mentioned, exercise. I don't exercise every day, but consistently each week I try to get 4 or 5 days. And if I get 4 or 5 days, then that's the consistency that's going to keep me feeling the way I want to. So use the app, use all the tools, and definitely make sure that you keep your goals in front of you as often as you can.
You've given so much great advice. I can't imagine what your one-on-one sessions are. I'm sure they're phenomenal. If anyone is listening and you want to tap in with him, how can we contact you?
So Instagram, I'm Brett Eaton _ on Instagram. My website is motivatedbybrett.com. And basically all of my offers, all my coaching are on there. And I just recently created a new membership subscription service where I do 2 coaching calls a month, and it's a monthly program where people can join at any time and be part of that community there as well. So that's called Momentum, which is why I'm talking about momentum and consistency so often, because I think it's so important. But yeah, I would say Instagram or my website are great places to find me, and would love to connect with people on that. And also I do have a podcast of my own called the Better You Blueprint podcast, where also putting out a lot of great content on high performance and just trying to become a better version of ourselves.
I want to thank you again so much for coming to speak with us and telling us, some great things to help other people be successful. Yeah. So thanks again, Brett.
Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope this was helpful.